Good part of the day, dear followers. Today we will discuss about phraseology, specifically the phraseological units with the lexical component money in English linguoculture. The vocabulary of languages is enriched not only by words but also phraseological units. Phraseological units are word groups that cannot be made in the process of the speech. They exist in a language as ready-made units. So, it is necessary to give the definition of phraseological units in itself. The study of phraseological units has been the object of study of many linguists throughout Europe and all around the globe. And their study has raised contributions steadily since the beginning of the 20th century. Many researchers have added to the complexity of the term, and the different approaches and different features of idioms have added to the importance of the topic. And according to Ginsburg, phraseological units are non-motivated word groups that cannot be freely made up in speech but are reproduced as ready-made units. And Kunin states that phraseological units are stable word groups with partially or fully transferred meanings. There are some approaches to the study of phraseological units, such as semantic approach, functional approach, and contextual approach. Semantic approach determines that phraseological units are non-motivated and also they are opposed to free word combinations which are completely motivated. And functional approach means that units are specific word groups functioning like word equivalents. Like words, they possess structural and semantic inseparability. And contextual approach describes the fact that phraseological units are used in specific context, non-variable or fixed. By the way, there are importance of lexical components within the semantic structure. Semantic approach includes the followings. According to the degree of motivation, which was put forward by Vinogradov in 1986. According to Vinogradov's classification, phraseological units are divided into the followings. Smirnetsky worked out a structural classification of phraseological units. He points out one of units which he compares with derived words, because derived words have only one root morpheme. And he points out two top units which he compares with compound words. There are two root morphemes. Among one top units, he pointed out three structural types. Firstly, classification based on a functional approach. It consists of structural semantic classification described by Kunin in 1996. Kunin's classification is based on structural semantic principle and also on the functions units fulfill in communication. According to his viewpoint, phraseological units can be nominative phraseological units, like a bull in a china shop. The second one is interjectional phraseological units, a pretty kettle of fish. And the second one is nominative communicative phraseological units, like verbal word groups, which are transformed into a sentence when the verb is broken, like to break the ice, or the ice is broken. First one, communicative phraseological units, proverbs and sayings. And we can take as an example the idiom spare a rod and spoil a child. Kunin, classifying phraseological units according to the structure, denoted that they can be changeable or unchangeable. And we are approaching to the classification based on a contextual approach. This approach was put forward by Amosova in 1989. She divided them into three groups, and first one is phraseological units with units of fixed context. She explains that fixed context is specific and unchanging sequence of lexical components and specific relations between them. Second one is phrasemes, which are always binary. One component has a phraseological bound meaning. The other serves as a determining context, small talk, small hours. Third, idioms, which are the new meaning created by the whole. Here, every element may have its original meaning weakened or completely lost. First example can be in the nick of the time. It means at the exact moment. And idioms can be movable or changeable or immovable. For example, apple sauce, the apple of one's eye. Cross-linguistic research on phraseology covers a wide range of challenging topics, from the simple or metaphors into languages to the systematic contrastive study of all categories of stat phrases across the world. Current research demonstrates that phraseology in the broad sense is one of the key components of language and is probably universal. However, the theoretical debate on the definition of set phrases and the interaction between culture, meaning, syntax, and figurative language and phraseology is not yet completely settled. Two major theoretical approaches have so far yielded promising results. The first is more semantic and is often associated with cognitive linguistics, while the second can be described as cross-linguistic corpus linguistics, which is a new term to the linguistics. The cognitive approach to phraseology across languages lays stress on metaphors and images as the constituent principles of said phrases, and provides interesting information about the intriguing interplay between universal cognitive principles, culture, and phraseology. Cross-linguistic studies based on corpora, on the other hand, offer statistical analysis of the various phrases, as well as a very reliable methodology. Cross-linguistic phraseology is closely linked to translation, and it means collaboration between multilingual corpus linguistics, contrastive phraseology, and natural language processing. And they may have perspectives on translation practice. In recent years, phraseology in the broad sense has become a unifying theme for an increasing number of theoretical and practical linguistic studies. Among this broad palette of investigations into the meaning, structure, or use of set phrases, cross-linguistic research is one of the major and most fascinating topics. The famous Danish linguist Hamslev already pointed out that there is a difference between form and substance of language, and he argued that his dichotomy was also applicable to the level of content, so that the whole semantic organization of the lexicon and its interaction with the real world will vary a lot from one language to another one. And structural classification by Smirnetsky. It is very good classification that is worked out throughout the phraseology, specifically the linguistics. He tried to combine structural and semantic principles. And Smirnetsky classified phraseological units as highly idiomatic set expressions, functioning as word equivalents and semantic and grammatical unity. He suggested three classes of stereotyped phrases. Firstly, traditional. Second, phraseological combinations. And third, idioms. Second group, for example, phraseological combinations fall into two subgroups: one summit units or one top units. Compared with affixed words, they have one meaningful constituent. One summit units have the following varieties: verbal adverbal units of the type, for example, to give up, or to come over, to give over, and which are equivalent to verbs in which grammatical and semantic sentence coincide in the first component, like pick up the tab or pay the bill, to back up or to support, to drop out, to miss or to omit. Second one, units equivalent to the verbs of the type to be tired, in which semantic center in the second element and grammatical center is in the first element. Like to be tired of, to be surprised at. Some of these units remind the passive voice in their structure, but they have all of the structures that can be have in prepositional nominal phrases. And there are also units in this type which remind free word groups of the type to be young, like to be akin to be aware of. The difference between them is that the adjective young can be used as an attribute and as a predicative in a sentence, while the nominal component in such units can act only as a predicative. In this unit, the verb is grammar center and the second component is the semantic center. Third, prepositional nominal units that are equivalent to unchangeable words, prepositions, conjunctions, and adverbs. Semantic center is in the nominal constituent. There is no grammatical center. On the money, for example, to be right about something, or in the red, it means to lose money or to be in debt, or for my money, it means in my opinion. And we have approached to two summit units or two top units. Compared with compound words, they have two or more meaningful constituents. They have the following divisions. Firstly, attributive nominal units, which are equivalent to nouns, for example, black money. All funds earned through illegal activity or otherwise legal income that's not recorded for tax purpose. Second one is hard money. It means a currency that is made up of or directly backed by a valuable commodity such as gold or silver. And second one is verbal nominal units, which are equivalent to verbs like pour money down the drain. It means to misuse money. And put one's money on a stretched horse. It means to bet on a certain failure, to gamble without a chance of winning. Very beautiful and attractive idioms, are they? And third one is phraseological repetitions, which are equivalents of adverbs or adjectives. Components are joined by a conjunction. For example, a mint of money, a great amount of money, money begets money. The more money you make, the easier it becomes to make still more. And fourth one is multi-summit units, which consist of a lot of meaningful elements. For example, money doesn't grow on trees, or pour money down the drain. The structural classification of phraseological units was the lexicalcomponent. For example, as we mentioned previously, Smielnicki worked out a structural classification of phraseological units. And we consider this phraseological unit with the component money according to this classification. Among one top units, there are three structural types. For example, the first one is units of the type to give up. It means verb plus preposition. And units of the type to be tired, verb to be plus participle to. And there are third type of units, for example, prepositional nominal phraseological units. For example, not everybody's money. It means doesn't fit everyone or not everybody might like it. For example, for my money, in my opinion. There are two top units like black money and like caution money, which will not be returned if they damage something or owe money at the end of their contract. And conscious money, money paid voluntarily to compensate for dishonesty, especially money paid voluntarily for taxes formally evaded. Dirty money, money earned in an illegal activity. And easy money, money that doesn't require a lot of effort to acquire. Folding money, currency issued by a government or central bank or consisting of printed paper that can circulate as a substitute for species. And hot money, capital that investors regularly move between economies and financial markets to profit. Pin money, small amounts of extra money that someone earns or gets in order to buy things that they want and they do not really need. Smart money, soft money, token money, and money for a gem. It's a very beautiful idiom that means money that is easily earned or gotten. And verbal nominal units, for example, be bad money or just to be flush with money. It means having a lot of money, usually for a short time. Or coin money, to make or gain money rapidly. And the next idiom is lie out of one's money. And money answers all the things. It means with money one can buy everything. Phraseological repetitions, for example, a mint of money, a great amount of money, or money begets money. It means the more money you make, the easier it becomes to make still more. And the next idiom is throw good money after bad, to continue spending money on something such as a business or a project that is going to fail. And the next idiom is so just wise and beautiful and makes readers think about life. For example, money is a good servant, but bad master. And next idiom is money makes the man. It means money is a tool that makes people better. And there are lots of idioms with the component money, like make money, marry money, or just your money or your life. And as we can see, the number of one-top phraseological units is very small. As usual, the phraseological units with the component money have more than one top. The results of the structural analysis are presented in 19th century. The results show that the majority of phraseological units are word nominal or attributive nominal, and there are no units of the type to give up and units of the type to be tired. Prepositional nominal and attributive nominal phraseologisms are more than one top units, and they are included in semantic classification. Semantic classification by Kunin is according to the degree of motivation, which was put forward by Kunin and Vinogradov in 20th centuries. The most popular is the synchronic classification of phraseological units by Vinogradov. He developed some points first advanced by the Swiss linguist Karl Bailey and gave a strong impetus to a purely lexicological treatment of the material. It means that phraseological units were defined as lexical complexes with specific semantic features and classified accordingly. His classification is based upon the motivation of the unit, that is the relationship between the meaning of the whole and the meanings of its component parts. The degree of motivation is correlated with the rigidity, indivisibility, and semantic unity of the expression. That is, with the possibility of changing the form or the order of components and of substituting the whole by a single word, so not all of the case. And in accordance with it, all phraseological units of semantic technical fusion of components are divided into three categories. Firstly, phraseological fusion, phraseological unity, and phraseological combinations. It is well known that phraseological units appear from a free combination word, which is used in a figurative sense. Of course, over time, the probability is forgotten, erased, and the combination becomes stable. Let's analyze these types of phraseological units in use for modern English language. According to Vinogradov's classification, phraseological units are divided into the following. First, phraseological fusions. It means word groups with completely changed meaning. It means their meaning cannot be deduced from the meanings of its constituent parts. And it means that phraseological fusions represent the highest stage of blending together. The meaning of components is completely absorbed by the meaning of the whole, by its expressiveness and emotional properties. The meaning of phraseological units is unmotivated at the present stage of language development. For example, hot money, as I mentioned above, and lie out of one's money, or funny money. Sometimes phraseological fusions are called idioms, under which linguists understand a complete loss of the inner form. For example, to explain the meaning of idioms is a complicated etymological problem. And the second type is phraseological unities. It means word groups with completely changed meaning. The meaning of the unit doesn't correspond to the meanings of its constituent parts, but deducible as it is based on metaphor. Phraseological unities are characterized by the semantic duality. One can't define for sure the semantic meaning of separately taken phraseological unities isolated from the context, because these word combinations may be used as free in direct meaning and as phraseological and in the figurative meaning. They are expressions, the meaning of which can be deduced from the meanings of their components. The meaning of the whole is based on the transferred meanings of the components. For example, sink money, marry money, blood money. In general, phraseological unities are phrases where the whole unity is not the sum of the meanings of its components, but is based upon them and may be understood from the components of the meaning of this, and this meaning of the significant word is not too remote from its ordinary meanings. This meaning is formed as a result of generalized figurative meaning of a free word combination. It is the result of figurative metaphoric reconsideration of a word combination, and they are partially motivated. Third type is phraseological collocations, word groups with partially changed meaning. Phraseological collocations are not only motivated but contain one component using in its direct meaning, while the other is used metaphorically. They are a construction or an expression in which every word has absolutely clear independent meaning, while one of the components has a bound meaning. It means that phraseological combinations contain one component used in its direct meaning, while the other is used figuratively. In this group of phraseological units, some substitutions are possible, which do not destroy the meaning of the metaphoric element. For example, money doesn't grow on trees. It means money is not easy to come by, and throw money around. To spend money, especially in an obvious and careless way, on things that are not necessary. And we are approaching to the new term, to the new branch of linguistics like linguoculturology. And linguoculturology is a new branch of science which deals with manifestations of culture of different nations which became fixed and are reflected in the language. This relatively new field of linguistic research represents a merger of two distinct subdisciplines or linguistics. They are social linguistics and culturology. Linguoculturology has to deal with lots of issues related to the language, such as the role of culture in formation of linguistic concepts, connection between the linguistic symbol and cultural sense of the word. Linguoculturology, one of the leading branches of modern linguistics, began to take shape in the last quarter of the 20s. According to the researchers, the term originated in connection with research conducted by the Moscow School of Phraseology under the direction of Tillar. And Maslow, who has created serious research in the field of linguoculturology, divides the development of this field into 3 stages. And the first stage is the creation of the first research that led to the formation of science. And the second stage is separation of linguoculturology as a separate field. And the third one is stage of development of linguoculturology. Phraseological units that denote money obtained from criminal activity are the following. For example, black money, dodgy money. Dodgy money means money gained from illegal activities, or the bloody money. Blood money from terrorism in the North Caucasus to the boardrooms of Moscow. Corruption is Russia's biggest problem. The phraseological units that shine a positive light on money are the following. For example, white money. This was to be part of a national white money strategy, still in the making, to shed Switzerland's image as a tax haven once and for all. And critics suspect it is a smoke screen. And there are many new phraseological units denoting monetary units, like internet money, electronic money, that have recently appeared in the economic discourse. And in conclusion, I would like to say that all the information about linguoculturology and phraseological units are closely related to each other, and I hope you will get lots of useful information through watching this video. Thank you for your attention.